Good afternoon and welcome to the 2024 Division I Men's Soccer Selection Show. I'm your host, Will Haskett. Clemson made it 2 out of the last 3 in 2023, maybe the only really consistent result in a tournament that's been anything but predictable over time. That should be the case again this season, a wide open bracket about to be unveiled, especially if you were tracking all of the results across conference tournaments over the last couple of weeks. 48 teams are still alive and about to be announced. The top 16 teams receiving byes into the second round, they are seeded in this bracket, with the remaining teams battling it out midweek this week in first round contests. The College Cup once again returns to Cary, North Carolina this year, with the national championship on December the 16th. And with 22 conferences earning automatic berths for their champions, it leaves 26 at-large selections available. Many of you watching right now are hoping you are one of those lucky 26. So let's not keep you waiting much longer and dive right into the bracket. We start with the top overall seed. No surprise here, it belongs to Ohio State. Lightning in a bottle this season for the Buckeyes, whose closest flirtation with the title came back in 2007 when they were 1 win away. Ascending to the top spot in the rankings as the season progressed, Ohio State set a new regular season win-loss record in capturing its first Big Ten regular season title since 2015, and then validated that with a conference tournament win over arch-rival Michigan, that being the cherry on top. They led the Big Ten in shots produced and produced more goals than any other team in the conference this season, while also holding opponents to less than 1 goal per game. That was also best in the Big Ten. The Buckeyes await the winner of our first-round matchup featuring our host, Western Michigan. The Broncos earning an at-large berth to make 3 straight NCAA tournaments for the first time in program history. Colin Welsh was named the Missouri Valley Goalkeeper of the Year and an All-MVC first-team nod, joining teammates Owen Smith and Carson Hodgson on the main squad. That trio battles SIU Edwardsville, the 1979 national champions, capturing the Ohio Valley's AQ, returning to the tournament for a 17th time. Time to make another team happy. UCLA squeezes an at-large berth out of this season. The 4-time national champions fighting their way back to the tournament for the first time in a few years, thanks to a semifinal finish in the Big Ten Conference Tournament. Senior Andre Ochoa earned first-team All-Big Ten this season in the midfield. The Bruins hosting UC Santa Barbara in the first round, a conference best 8 players earning all Big West honors this season, including Big West Offensive Player of the Year Alexis Ledoux, who ranks top 5 in the country in both goals and points this season. The Gauchos reached a peak ranking of 13 this season and hope to peak again in this NCAA postseason. Winner of that game traveling north to Stanford next weekend. The 3-time national champions enjoying their first year in the ACC. Zach Bohane getting first-team nods after leading the team in goals and points on the season. All right, let's check in next with the champs. Clemson will defend coming out of the 9-seed line. Champions 2 of the last 3 seasons. The Tigers focused on title number 5 overall with another trip back to the tournament. Several of the key players from last year's title run are back, including Alex Meinhard, who was an all-tournament performer a season ago, and he leads the team in goals this season. Led the conference in game winners as well for a top 5 offense nationally that has the ability to score at every level. Strong season in the Big East for Providence. Gets the Friars a home game in their return to the tournament for the first time since 2021. And a date with the Patriot League champs of Bucknell, who wait a decade to return to this bracket with the AQ here. All right, perhaps a new streak beginning for Maryland. The Terps missed out on the tournament last year for the first time since the Clinton administration. That's 1993 for all of you athletes not born yet, and returned to the tournament for a 41st time. The 4-time national champions last won it all in 2018 and have made the College Cup or the national semifinals an amazing 14 times in program history. This is one of the foundational programs in college soccer, with a group looking to write its own history now back in the field in 2024. LIU is part of that history as well, with the Northeast Conference champions, national runner-ups all the way back in 1966 and in the field for a second straight year. Winner of that game in College Park heads south to Wake Forest. The 2007 national champions have been seeded in this bracket seemingly every year since that title run, making a 14th consecutive tournament and riding the momentum of being ACC tournament champions. They got a thrilling 7-6 win in PKs over Clemson, who they could meet, you can see here, in a third-round rematch. All right, next up is Dayton. First back-to-back trip for the Flyers, who have lived up to their nickname all season on the offensive end. No team in the country got off as many shots as this group per year per game, sporting a goal differential of plus 30 heading into the A-10 championship, which they won. Only Duke sported a higher differential this year of any team in the country. Of the 10 goal scorers for Dayton, 5 of them have 6 or more this season for an attack that is coming at you from every angle of the pitch. Michigan made its own run, the Big Ten Tournament Championship runner-up. They built a resume worthy of an at-large selection that they receive here, and hosting duties to battle Robert Morris, representing the Horizon League. All right, we say hello to Washington, a deep run in the Big Ten debut for the Huskies, making the conference semifinals. Team featuring 2 all-conference selections in Peter Kingston and Caden Buckley, with Kingston leading the team in points and goals. In goal, Jaden Boughton tied for the conference lead, 7 shutouts this season, also tied for 10th most in a single season at UW. It'll be hard to blank, however, their opponent in the first round, that is Seattle, the WAC champions, returning again this season. Winner of that duo heads to Texas, where they will face SMU in the second round, the most grueling schedule in program history, preparing the Mustangs for their 36th trip to the tournament. SMU played 4 games against top 10 RPI opponents this season, and while being bounced in the ACC quarterfinals may have stung a little bit, they've had a lot of time to, most importantly, get healthy, which could help this team as they await their weekend matchup between the winner of Washington and Seattle. All right, our next seed belonging to Marshall. The Herd won it all in the delayed 2020 tournament played in the spring of 2021, seeking title number 2 after sporting the best defense in the Sun Belt in terms of goals against this season. And they will await the winner of North Carolina, which survived a grueling ACC slate to return to the tournament, seeking to add to the titles from 2001 and 2011. They face off against the SoCon champions of Furman, who bested ETSU 2-0 to return to the tournament for the first time in 6 years. All right, let's make somebody really happy right now. As we say happy Monday, NC State, the Pack, have returned to the tournament for the first time since 2019, sweating it out the last 12 days after a first-round exit in the ACC tournament. Head coach Mark Hubbard bringing this program back to the NCAA tournament for a 17th time, thanks to 3 All-ACC performers this season. It'll be a quick drive for their opponent from Charlotte, which had no bubble sweat at all. They earned the AQ from the American for the 2011 national runner-ups. And the winner of this one gets the red-hot team from Georgetown. The 2019 national champions have been one of the more consistent programs in the nation over the past decade, making the Hoyas' 8th straight conference tournament, NCAA tournament, I should say, and surviving the Big East tournament as the 4th seed this season. Eric Howard made his only shot of the game count late in the second, his first goal of the season, second ever as a Hoya. It was the game winner to earn another Big East crown and vault Georgetown up to the 4 line in the bracket. All right, that is half of the teams. Halfway point here, we slide over to the other side of the bracket, and the 3rd overall seed, that belongs to Denver. 14th appearance for the Pioneers, who led the Summit League in goals against and shutouts this season. Isaac Nem was named the Conference Keeper of the Year, while teammate Ronan Wynn was in front of him as the Defensive Player of the Year. Sam Bassett was the top midfielder also in the conference. He led the conference in assists while ranking 2nd on the team in goals scored this season. All right, we hand out another precious at-large berth and welcome Oregon State back to the field for the 5th consecutive season, where the Beavers have made 1 College Cup before in program history. And they will welcome Gardner-Webb to town via the Big South AQ, tournament bound for the 2nd time ever, the first one coming all the way back in 2006. And at large for the 2010 champs from Akron, with the Zips returning after missing the field a season ago. And Princeton will rep the Ivy League as the opponent in the first round. The Tigers missed out on the field the last 2 years, but come back this season thanks to 3 straight goals against Penn in the Ivy League championship game. Nico Nee scoring the first, and it was Ian Nunez the second. That would prove to be the game winner in a 3-1 triumph for Princeton to get the automatic qualifying spot out of the Ivy League. Winner of that one heads to Titletown, Bloomington, the home of Indiana. There is a tournament, the Hoosiers are in it and threats to win it all, falling in PKs last year in the quarters. That was a year after they lost in PKs for the national title. That was their third runner-up finish since the last of the Hoosiers' 8 national titles in 2012. Tommy Mihalik co-led the Big Ten during the regular season in goals and paces an offense that scored 25 times in the last 7 games of the regular season before losing in the opener this year of the conference tournament. Virginia is on the 11 seed line this year, following up on Indiana's 8 titles. The Cavaliers own 7 national trophies of their own, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of their most recent championship. Another program that you would not be surprised to see at the end of this bracket run. West Virginia hoping to make it a border battle in the second round. The Mountaineers won the Sun Belt regular season title for the first time thanks to the stellar play of Sergio Ors Navarro, who was named the Sun Belt Player of the Year. 14 goals in the regular season. The defense was also extremely good this year. 9 shutouts on the campaign. Dan Stratford was named Sun Belt Coach of the Year. And he will lead his squad against North Florida in the opener. The Ospreys, the kings of the Atlantic Sun, after surviving a 3-3 tie in the championship to win in PKs and return to the tournament for just the second time in program history. Massachusetts checking in next as a host. First 10-win or greater season since 2017. Alec Hughes, first ever 3-time Atlantic 10 Offensive Player of the Year and the first player to win the award 3 consecutive seasons. He broke UMass's all-time goals record, passing Hall of Famer Jeff Darren. The Minutemen scoring 40 goals in the regular season, ranking 7th in the country and 8th in the nation in goals per game. That's a lethal offense that will tackle the Missouri Valley champions of Evansville, tournament bound for the first time since 1996. You can still hear the celebration taking place in Southwest Indiana. Winner of that one heads to Penn in the second round. Big seed respect to earn the program's second berth in the last 3 seasons. This is Penn's 12th NCAA berth of all time. All right, the 7th seed in the bracket belonging to Hofstra, making their 4th consecutive NCAA appearance. This team was seeded last season for the first time ever and advanced to the 3rd round for just the 2nd time in 3 seasons under head coach Richard Nuttall, who is in his 36th season leading the squad. A really balanced team for him this year. Lots of NCAA experience led by Lori Goddard, Jacob Woznicki, and Teddy Baker, combining to score over 20 of the team's goals this season. Defense is strong as well on the backside, led by All-American Pierce Infuso. Vermont enters as the reps of the American East again this season, playing host to the Mid-Atlantic reps of Iona, which makes just the 2nd tournament appearance in program history. Out west we head, San Diego getting a home game to begin the postseason. It was a PK loss in the opening round last year, had the Toreros waiting 365 long days to begin this process again. They will look to avoid a same opening round defeat against UC Davis, which enters with momentum off of the Big West. And the winner of that one will fly across the country to battle Duke in the second round. Much like their ladies last week in the selection show, the Blue Devils appear to have all the stars aligned this season to get that national title, although this program does own 1 trophy that came back in 1986. The record and the numbers solid for the program this year. However, there are 2 big pieces of motivation for this team entering the NCAA tournament. First, an overtime loss in the second round last year, and second, a quarterfinal loss in this year's ACC tournament. They are ready to get back on the pitch and play this coming weekend. Missouri State earning a bye into the weekend. 3 straight 12-win seasons under head coach Michael Seabolt. The Bears have won at least 12 games in 6 straight seasons and have won at least 9 matches every year since 2016, boasting the best overall winning percentage in the nation since the start of 2019. It's one of less than 10 programs to have made every NCAA tournament in that span. Senior forward Jesus Barea, 3rd in the nation in goals scored and on his way to breaking the program's single-season record. It could be a thriller with our next team to unveil as well, but we get to say welcome back to the tournament. St. Louis, the 10-time national champions, missed the field a season ago, but they add to their record by making a 51st NCAA tournament, more than any other program in the land. And the Billikens welcoming Kansas City, who will drive east after capturing the AQ from the Summit League. All right, more Ivy League love in this bracket. Cornell making its 12th tournament appearance and back in with some at-large respect after missing out on this bracket a season ago. And they play host to Fordham, returning to the NCAA tournament for the first time since the spring of 2021 and for the 6th time in program history. The key player to watch here, Daniel D'Ippolito, the A10 midfielder of the year, whose 13 goals are the most by a Fordham player since 1998. He has 2 hat tricks on the season. That's the first time a Fordham player has accomplished that feat in more than 40 years. All right, that leaves one team left. You know who that would be by now. The 2 seed belonging to Pitt. The outright champs of the ACC regular season dropped their opener in the conference tournament, so the Panthers are rested and hungry to get to the NCAA tournament. Pitt paced the conference in goals against this season, leading to the first outright conference crown in program history. Casper Svenby was named the ACC Defender of the Year, one of 8 all-conference honorees on that team. All right, there you have it. All 48 teams still alive in pursuit of a national championship. The road to Cary begins this week with the 16 first-round matchups we just announced. The single elimination bracket continues on campus sites through the month and into December. 4 worthy teams will find themselves in the College Cup, beginning with the national semifinals on December the 13th and the championship on December the 16th. For the 9th time, Cary, North Carolina will play host to the College Cup with ESPNU, your home to watch the semifinal and championship action. There have been some really electric environments in North Carolina before. We hope you can make that journey. If not, follow along with all the action as well here on NCAA.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Will Haskett. Congratulations and best of luck to all the student athletes competing in this year's championship.
If you're not here for Fandom 101, you're in the wrong class. Here, we learn the fundamentals of fanology, the basics of bringing the noise, and the physics of bringing it out. Your path to fan mastery begins here. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA Championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.